Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's gonna be this month's monthly wrap up. This month I read 14 books and let's go through them and talk about them. I probably won't say too much about them, give you how I was feeling while I was reading it, what I rated it, things like that. So let's get into it. First book I read was Throne of Glass. I gave it 4 stars and I just felt like it was very slow paced at the beginning, but by the end it was getting just so good. But I gave it 4 stars just because of how slow it was, how it took me to get into it. I wasn't seeing what the hype really was, but here we are. I gave it 4 stars. I can't wait to continue the series, especially with how it ended. I loved, what was his name? Dorian. And how did you say his name? Sorry, let me go check. I love that she has that in the back of like their pronunciations for their names because I need this. Loved it. Kale and Dorian, they were just amazing. And how she made them kind of like fall for her without even really doing much of anything, just being her true self, which I absolutely loved. So I cannot wait to continue the rest of the series eventually. And that's my cat in the background, so I'm gonna apologize for that. Then I read The Curse by Harper L. Woods. I've seen this on Amazon while I was gonna read it in October, but my reading in October was just all over the place, to be quite honest, so did not read it in October. I was like, I'm gonna read it at the beginning of November. This was just everything in one. So basically it's about witches and what do they call, they're not called vampires in here, they're called something else. I can't remember what they're called. But anyways, her dad wants revenge on this coven, so she goes to basically this witch academy, but something happened 50 years ago that they shut it down, but now they're back. They reopened, so now she's going to it and it's just very dark and twisted and a lot of things. Anyways, her father wants revenge because her aunt died 50 years ago from the massacre that happened, and a lot of betrayal, a lot of twists and turns, and just so good. So good. So I had the paperback for the first one. The second book is called The Curse, and I read that on my Kindle. I gave The Coven 5 stars and then The Curse 3 stars. I just didn't like the way it ended. I felt like there was so much more that could have went to Grayson's and hers relationship and story and seeing how they went about everything. I felt like there was just still more that could have been, like there could have been another book to kind of just truly wrap everything else up. But yeah, no, I loved it. It was really good. Really enjoyed this one. Then I read Pretty Reckless by Sheridan Farrell, and I gave this one 4 stars. My friend kept on telling me that I needed to read this, I needed to read this, I needed to read this, so I finally picked it up. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I have that on my bookshelf, so yeah. I gave this one 4 stars. I can't remember if I said or not. This is following Elise and Weston. And Weston used to be her therapist, and only her therapist for a day. Let's not make it sound taboo, but her therapist for a day. And then something happens that he doesn't see her again. This story, trigger warnings for this one. So many trigger warnings. It just gave me all the feels, the butterflies, the everything. I love seeing Weston and her come together. She obviously has suffered so much, and to see how much power her father had, and he's just a sick human being as it is, the way that he just used her and how he treated her and how he just degraded her and her mother over and over and over again. It's just very dark and definitely trigger warnings. Next, I read A Court of Frost and Starlight, obviously by Sarah J. Maas. So I started this years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I just couldn't get, I couldn't get into it after reading the first 3 books. If you definitely know how like that last one, A Court of Wings of Ruins, ends, and like all like everything that has built up throughout the whole series, getting to this one was like, do I really need to read it? Then I was like, okay, I just need to read books this month, and I was like, I just need to get this out of the way so I can get to A Court of Silver Flames because I really want to read that book. I ended up giving this 3 stars as well. It's just basically everything that happens. My cat just has no show. It's just everything that happens after the war and seeing how they rebuild, how the characters are doing. Nesta's still beep, but star. And then I'm pretty sure mostly everyone has already read this. I feel like I don't even want to give my thoughts on it, but Iron Flame. It's beautiful. I got the sprayed edges. As you can tell, it's definitely like messed up in some spots. You can definitely see. Had it on pre-order, like you can definitely see right there too. Paperback is probably just kind of disappointed. Mine came ruined. It's like ripped here. It's just, no, that's not the point. We're talking about the book, the actual story. I gave it 5 stars. I'm obsessed with this whole series and the world that she's building and everything. And I'm just saying now that if they are not endgame, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry, and I'm probably just gonna cry and cry and cry and don't know what I'm gonna do in my life, because one thing she said in her interview, I just want to she's not afraid to kill off characters. Doesn't care how important the character is. She's not afraid to kill them off. So now that makes me nervous. And then she keeps on repeating how like it is Violet's story. And I'm just like, you're telling me they're not going to be like endgame? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no clue. I keep seeing all like the theories on TikTok and stuff like that, and I believe each and every one of them, so who the heck knows what's gonna happen next. But it's beautiful, and I can't wait for the 3rd book to come out of this one. You'll probably see me rereading these sometime soon again, because I'm absolutely obsessed. And I read the first 2 books in the Addicted series, Addicted to You, and then Ricochet, which is a novella. Didn't think I was gonna love this so much, but I absolutely loved it. Their addiction, I think, just made it so much captivating, and it made you understand the characters and love them even more, because you see how much they love each other and how toxic their relationship is, but they're so codependent on each other. So when they're ripped away from each other, it's very just heartbreaking. Especially this one, I think for sure, even though it says a novella, this is you need to read it. It just shows you to see how Lily's doing while he's away, and how she's trying to better herself for him as well, just like he's trying to better himself for her. And it was just really good to read. I cannot wait to get to the 3rd book, but I need to buy it. I gave them both 5 stars because I loved it that much. Then I read Praise by Sarah Kate. I had this on my TBR for like ever. Then I finally got the physical copy, and I'm just like, you know what, we're gonna read it. I devoured it, gave it 5 stars, loved it. I was expecting it, like how everyone like describes it isn't how like the relationship goes down. I thought like literally she goes, she meets him, he like degrades her, and like literally they do the deed, and that's kind of where the relationship starts from there. But that's definitely not how it goes. I loved how it was written. I loved how it went along. It kind of gave me like Birthday Girl vibes, like how their relationship came together. It was just really good, really good. Can't wait to read the 2nd book in the series sometime. The last 3 books, my physical copy books that I have here, are The Silver Swan, The Broken Puppet, and translate to A Whisper from the Dead. Her covers are just always so beautiful. Amo Jones. Obviously, these are rereads for me. I gave them all 5 stars. Absolutely love this series. Currently going to start the 4th book here soon for December, and I'm rereading this with one of my friends, and we're devouring them, literally devouring them. It's so good. And if you like a book that like there's pieces in there that you kind of have to put together to figure out what's truly going on, these are the books for you. And the romance, the guys, they're all alpha males, you just like fall for them. I wouldn't even know how to like describe this world. Like I feel like you need to just go in and read it and figure it out for yourself type of book. I finished Make Me Queen, which is a series by Sierra Jane and Mae Dawson. I gave that one 4 stars. I literally finished that one today. It's the last book in a series. It's basically a series where her father's a serial killer, and he kind of ropes her in. She ends up sending him to prison, and now all his cults and him are basically like harassing her. And then she ends up meeting these guys that are kind of just as crazy as her, but one of the guys she knew from her past life, and he knows that's her, and he outs her. So it's just a lot of drama, a lot of back and forth between their families and this and that. It's just really good, really good. Which is the last book, is The Wrong Bride by Catherine, is it Mora? I give that one 5 stars. It's about her sister's, like a romance between her sister's fiance and her, but like it's not as taboo as that sounds. I feel like that sounds like, no, that's not for me, but that's not how it went down. just so much goes into the story. But I had butterflies while reading this. They were definitely meant to be, even though he couldn't see it. Basically everything from the beginning of his relationship with her sister was basically a lie, and you find everything out at the end, how everything went about. But it was so good, and I read it literally in a sitting. That's how good it was. Also, my friend did recommend that one to me. But those are all the books I read this month. I read 14 books this month. It was an amazing month. A lot of 5-star reads for me. Obviously, a couple rereads. I love rereading books. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. But I hope to see you in the next monthly wrap up for December.